The human brain thinks in patterns. And I know this because I am a human. And you person watching this, unless you're a bot, are a human. But anyway, all jokes aside, the human brain thinks in patterns because it helps us to survive. Imagine you're a male living in a hunter-gatherer group, and the women have been doing all the work. Same old shit, different millennia, but they have been picking the berries and hunting and cooking all the small animals around the camp. So you and the bros say, the women have been doing a very good job. We cannot survive without women. So y'all decide that you want to show your strength to us. And you say, hey, let's go and hunt for that mountain lion that we've been seeing lurking around occasionally. And the hunt is nothing new to you. You're pretty much a veteran at this point. So you go out and you're with your crew and everything, and you're looking around, trying to stay hidden from this animal that occasionally lurks because it's also making sure it's protecting itself too. Any type of noise is a cause for alert. So even if like the wind's blowing and the trees are rustling, it's still a point to watch over and make sure there's nothing there. And not even what you're hunting, but anything that could be potential danger. So because of your past experiences and because you're just out in the middle of nowhere, you don't know what's out there, even if you might have a good idea, you still have to be on alert and you still do whatever you can to protect yourself. And even if that rustling was just wind, you still have to be on guard because what if it's not? Thus, this is how a pattern forms, essentially connecting the dots. So now let's fast forward a couple thousand years. At this point, we're not really living in a society where we have to worry about going to hunt for food anymore. But now there's more global access, and now we are in like a world war, World War I or World War II, where people are being sent out to go fight each other to the death. The human population is a lot bigger, and the government is spending a lot of money to get these wars funded. And they say, yeah, we've got a lot of resources and we could do whatever we want with them. But let's manipulate the people and use them for their money and their hard work. And no matter what they say against it, let's keep on gaslighting them. So now you got Papa coming home from war and he's suffering from PTSD. Due to also his experiences in the war and having to constantly be on the lookout and to protect himself and his family. The war is over, but people are still being pushed for their money and for their time and their hard work. All that's left is a great big trauma bubble that just trickles down to the next generations. The government makes it seem like you have to rely on them so that they can keep on using you, manipulating you, just so that they can have their money back to repay all their violence that they decided that they wanted to do instead of making it up another way. Because they know that they're saving money and it's more money in their pocket. So trauma is either occurring from somebody losing a loved one due to war or from someone who is facing PTSD and doesn't know how to handle it because there's no outlet for them at all. And on top of that, they're forced to work and use of that energy that they could be using to get healing. They're using it to work to death basically and have to earn all this money that gets pushed back into society and like having to constantly be in a life where they have to push themselves even when they don't feel like they can. So they take it out on small things like their children or just like anything that remotely seems that they can easily express themselves with due to their anger that maybe won't fight back against them. That trauma again trickles down to generations and generations and generations. The children are observing. They see that daddy works a lot. They see that mommy's always around the house doing work. They see that daddy lashes out on mommy when she doesn't do things properly for him. And they think this is just how life is and we've got to be exactly the same way as our parents, or whatever our parents say is basically the truth and we have to believe them or we face consequences. Again, it is a pattern. Some patterns really do help us for survival, but other patterns that we pick up through life, we gotta learn how to drop them. And it starts with realizing where the pattern comes from and why it's happening, and to forgive yourself and for others who have put those patterns on you, if it came from someplace else or if it just came from an experience that maybe you had no control over. And I believe this is where we are right now.